Good evening. Supervisor Ballows unexpectedly called away this evening right before our meeting, and I apologize for the late start. We had some pressing issues we had to discuss downstairs. Ms. Clerk, are we all set?
I guess so, yes.
All right, call the meeting to order.
Councilman Munger,
Present.
Councilman Genzel,
Present.
Supervisor Ballo,
Absent.
Councilman Ordway,
Present.
Councilman Keating.
Present.
Councilman Genzel, pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And thank you. On preliminary matters tonight, the supervisors passed along two separate issues. The first of which, request from our assessor, Susan Fitzner. She has to require one class to finish for state certification to be a completely certified assessor for the town of Boston. It's a week-long course that'll be held July 11th through July 15th, with the final examination taking place at Cornell University on July 15th. She's requested permission to attend this course. She does have this money in her budget for this particular course that week. It's a discounted fee of $470. There's a 4-night hotel stay, which she's negotiated at a price of $499.95. Round trip mileage 347.64 miles at 45 cents per mile for a total of $1,560.43. The meal reimbursement is a standard meal allowance allowed to town employees when they travel outside of town. I make a motion that this be approved.
Second.
Check your mics, please.
Second.
Councilman Munger,
Aye.
Councilman Genzel,
Yes.
Councilman Ordway,
Yes.
Councilman Keating.
Yes.
Motion carried.
And the second preliminary matter, we've been presented with an invoice for the current town website that's being replaced to renew the servicing for that for a period of one more year. At this point in time, our new website will be ready to go online forthwith. All the services will transfer with that. The new Internet Service Group bill is $399. It is non-refundable. We expect to not need that within the next few weeks. Recommendation at this point in time to make a motion that we do not renew that service.
I would second with a caveat. The new website will not actually be ready by the time that needs to be taken care of, but what I'm trying to do is work this into our current plan with the new web provider so that they take over not only the URL hosting, but host the current website until we can get the new website up and running.
And that's a second.
Yes. With that caveat.
Councilman Munger,
Aye.
Councilman Genzel,
Yes.
Councilman Ordway,
Yes.
Councilman Keating.
Yes.
Carried.
Moving on to regular business, correction and adoption of our minutes from May 4th, 2016. I've had the opportunity to review the minutes from our May 4th, 2016 meeting. At this point, they require no additions, changes, or deletions, and I move they be adopted.
I'll second that.
Councilman Munger,
No.
Councilman Genzel,
No.
Councilman Ordway,
Yes.
Councilman Keating.
Yes.
There's a tie vote, so there's no motion carried either way.
Next issue is consideration.
What'd you say?
It was a tie vote, so there was no vote. It's a tie vote, 2-2. The motion is not carried.
Right, motion doesn't carry, okay.
Yes, okay.
Regular business consideration of all fund bills, Councilman Munger.
Yes, thank you, Acting Supervisor. I have had a chance to review our fund bills, so I would like to make a motion that we pay all fund bills totaling in the amount of $42,117.70.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Councilman Munger,
Aye.
Councilman Genzel,
Yes.
Councilman Bordway,
Yes.
Councilman Keating.
Yes.
Carried.
With respect to item number 3 on our agenda tonight, correspondence, there is one correspondence from the planning board that will be received and filed. In particular, what that is that the May 10th, 2016 planning board meeting was canceled due to a lack of agenda items. The next scheduled planning board meeting, assuming there is an agenda, will be May 24th at 7:30 p.m. Moving on to new business, item number 5 on our agenda this evening, request for the floor. If you could please kindly stick to the 3-minute time limit. Rely on matters that are on the agenda. Come up to the microphone up front here. If you could give us your name and address, please. And the floor is open.
Good evening. My name is Joseph Litwin from 7668 Charles Drive. I'm just stating to the board that my request for the zoning board of appeals has been canceled twice now due to a lack of board members, and I'm not able to proceed with my building plans as I'm requesting. I just want to advise the board and the rest of the residents that are here tonight that the zoning board of appeals is failing me at this point twice now. And I'm waiting to find out if I will be failed a 3rd time on June 7th. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Mr. Lippman. We did receive correspondence that the last ZBA meeting was canceled due to a lack of a quorum. They had said they would meet on May 19th. Mrs. Jacklow, could you verify that, please?
Yes, we were supposed to be planning on meeting tomorrow night, but unfortunately somebody had to step out because of a medical appointment that they had. And again, we didn't have a quorum. So it was a non-scheduled meeting night, so we did try to accommodate Mr. Littman. And what I did talk to some of the members tonight, and what we are going to try to do is reach out and see if we might possibly schedule something for next week to get it expedited instead of having to wait till the June 2nd meeting.
Is Mr. Littman the only one on the agenda?
Yes, sir.
All right.
So, and I'm also asking that if anyone is interested in joining the zoning board of appeals to please, so this way we don't run into this problem again. So 'cause right now we have 2 alternate and a seat available.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Lippman, is your project delayed for good because of this delay, or did you have a timetable that?
Not missing a timetable in particular, but I am waiting to get approval so I can proceed with hiring my contractor and doing the site work to get the building underway, hopefully before winter.
Makes sense. Now, next week, if our ZBA can get together, we keep our fingers crossed that they all stay healthy.
As of right now, I have not heard anything back from any member of the ZBA to change that for next week. I was canceled on Tuesday morning.
Yeah. I'm sure it takes time out of your day, too.
Yes,
So,
and my neighbors who came for the first meeting, who all showed up and were denied to talk.
Could the ZBA chairman please keep in correspondence with Mr. Litwin here?
Yes.
We need to try and
I
resolve
was going to
this.
reach out to him tonight. I wanted to make sure that we had room available for next week, and then I was going to talk to them and see which dates are available, and then reach out to Mr. Litwin to see what would be available for him.
Okay.
I guess my only concern with that is how are we going to notify the other neighbors who are involved with this process? We did have some issues with getting the letters out in a timely fashion to the appropriate neighbors who bound my property.
And you sent those out, or the town sent
The
those?
town was supposed to send those out, and
Secretary.
my neighbor across the street had a severe delay in getting his, while the other 2 adjoining neighbors did get their letters, which were highlighted differently and were a little bit different from each other. So I'm a little concerned about that.
Is there any objection?
There is no objection, other than I was requesting a variance for a 30-foot setback instead of a 50. I am changing that request, and I'm not needing that setback variance. I'm just asking for a square footage variance for a secondary building on my property.
Oh, okay, so this is for like a shed, basically?
Pole barn.
Oh, okay. All right, great. Please stay in contact with the ZBA chairman, and, unfortunately, these are all volunteer boards. People's schedule, everybody's very, very busy these days.
Sure, I understand that.
And unfortunately, the project's been delayed.
Yes.
So hopefully we can get that resolved for you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Littman.
Good evening. I'm Barbara Moore, and I live on Lingle Road. And I see that there is a resolution concerning the town clerk's duties on the agenda. I have reviewed it, and I'm afraid I'm finding myself thinking that once again, we're going back and changing things because things have been done inappropriately. And I would like you to seriously consider that before it goes to a vote. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Moore. And anyone else?
Yes. Jennifer Muley, Town Clerk of the Town of Boston, elected by, I'm assuming, the majority of the people here. This is in regards to the resolution that someone on the town board put together. Obviously Jason and Zach had no idea about it, so.
But Ms. Mealy, I didn't hear your residence on the.
Yeah, I didn't see any resolution either.
Right.
Then how are you gonna vote on it?
We haven't got to that.
Okay, well, it was on the agenda. The agenda packet was given to the supervisor, who once again decided to not instruct one of his clerks to give copies to the town board that I asked him to actually do. So if he can't do that for you as the supervisor, that you really should talk to him about that. But
Again, Ms.
the
Mealy, I
question-
didn't hear
I'm
where your
speaking.
residence was.
I'm speaking.
I didn't hear where your residence was.
I'm the town clerk in the town of Boston, and I
You
don't
may
have
possibly
to.
be
I
correct.
do not have to tell you what my residence is, sir.
Okay. Interesting.
Very interesting,
It is.
because it's none of your business.
Listen to her, please. She has 3 minutes.
This actually states that the clerk publicly stated to the supervisor and the town board that she would no longer perform the duties of clerk. Please explain to me when that happened.
You'd have to ask the supervisor.
Oh, see, okay, so you have no idea what you're talking about when this
We
resolution...
didn't see it. We did not see that
Oh,
resolution.
that's funny.
Nobody on
That's
this
funny
board has seen it.
because
You've seen it,
the
Jason?
properties of this document shows that it was revised within the town of Boston 3 times. 3 times within a half an hour. So
That's fantastic.
someone in this building devised this nice resolution.
It
And
was
you guys
actually
can
going to be
sit up
tabled
there
tonight
and you
because I
can...
don't
Of
think it
course it's going to be
goes quite.
tabled because the supervisor's conveniently not here to pass the
No, because
resolution.
I honestly
just
don't,
like
I don't
last time.
feel that it goes quite far enough.
Well, okay, well, I still am going to have
Well,
my
then how do you
say.
know it doesn't go quite far enough if you haven't seen it?
I
You
didn't say,
just
I
stated
didn't
you
say I
haven't
didn't
seen
see it. I never said that.
So you're lying
Councilman
again.
Gensel
The funny
Why
thing
are you
didn't
lying?
see it.
Ms. Muley has the floor, let her speak.
The
I was given the supervisor's
resolution
packet.
was either written by the town attorney, or it was written by one of the clerks downstairs. And for you guys, or even the supervisor, to approve it, he has seen it. And that he has not, he can actually come up with a resolution and not share it with any of you, but put your names on it. That's kind of odd to me. Again, just trying to show people that what you're doing is so incorrect. The town clerk shall enter a daily record of all monies received. I do this every day. The town clerk shall issue licenses and permits and collect all fees thereof. I do this also every day. A local law regarding public use of town facilities and fees associated therewith was adopted by the town board. When was the public hearing for this local law? When was it brought to the public for a public hearing? Again,
What's the
no
public
answer.
law that you're speaking of? I don't.
Well, again, you can play, like you don't know anything, but that's your MO, so that's okay.
That's obnoxious.
Resolution 2002-11, that was a resolution that you all did pass. That was a resolution, not a local law. Maybe the town attorney should review things before they're put on an agenda. It's also saying that I refuse to perform my duties related to this local law regarding public use of town facilities. I've not refused anything. I have taken every application and I have taken every fee. The only thing that I have asked is that the fees be clarified by the supervisor's office because none of it matches. The application is different than the fee schedule and the resolution that was passed last year. So all I asked for was clarification and I never got it. So anybody that will come into my office and ask to fill out this application, I will continue to send downstairs so the supervisor can tell them what fee they have to pay. And I'd be more than happy to take their application and their fee and put it on the calendar. When it comes to the sporting leagues, right on that application, it states they must make sure that their dates do not conflict. That is not up to me. It's always been that way and always has been. It states on here, the town clerk has appointed 2 deputy town clerks who have not to date performed any duties that the town board is aware of. He's stating the town board, so he must have asked your opinion about this. Sandy has performed over 97 hours of volunteer work in my office. You've all seen her. You seen her there Friday, didn't you, Mr. Genzel?
Sure did.
Sure, right. So obviously then, this is very false.
I didn't see
statement.
the document. It's on the agenda. We didn't receive agenda packets.
You must have had input on this
I did not have
resolution.
any input in that resolution.
Well, unfortunately, I
We
had a
didn't
hard
even
time
discuss it
believing that.
downstairs,
Mr. Wardway actually said he would take care of that resolution.
that's where we're at. We haven't gotten
Convenient
to
the
it.
supervisor's not here
Correct.
to again.
Like I said, we're
To
going to
again-
table it because I don't
Exactly,
think it
to
goes
table it again
quite far
because last
enough.
time Councilman Genzel wasn't here when it came to a resolution that regarded something that you think that I'm doing
Well,
incorrectly.
this resolution here, no one saw until I walked in tonight and was handed the supervisor's packet.
And again, he should have given
So I
you that
saw it.
packet. But he
Mr.
should-
Hawkins, I saw it.
Thank you very
Saw
much.
He
it
should have given you that packet.
When I was given the supervisor's packet this evening.
And they told
So-
the truth.
And it's going to be tabled again, like I said, clearly it doesn't go quite far enough. So, but go on.
The town clerk shall perform her legally required duties as clerk to the town board by creating an agenda document. I do that every single board meeting. I create that agenda document, the supervisor approves it. There's nothing ever, anywhere in the law that states I have to give you a packet. If you can show that to me, then by all means, I will give you a packet. But again, when I had 2 deputies in my office to assist me on a weekly basis, I had no problem giving you the information that you required. I politely asked the supervisor to please take that complete packet that I gave him 2 meetings in a row now, and have someone please make copies for you all so that you would be prepared. And he chose to not give you that packet. So maybe you should have a discussion with him. We have 3 clerks downstairs in that office doing who knows what. Doesn't matter to me if they are paid out of the town clerk budget or not. They are not my employees. They are not my deputies, nor will they ever be. I will not teach them because I have 2 deputies that are already being utilized in my office. And the supervisor and the town attorney made that very clear who these girls worked for when I requested to be included in their interviews and asked for a copy of their resumes. And I have in writing, it is confidential. No, you cannot. So if I'm not allowed to see a resume or interview someone that you expect me to have work for me and have me trust in my office when I'm collecting millions of dollars yearly, not going to happen. Never will. So You all can continue to rip my signs down off my signboards, come in and reach your hand in, take anything that you want, put anything you want on my doors. I don't care anymore. It's not fazing me. These are the people I work for, and I think you've all forgotten.
Thank you.
Richard Hawkins, 6892 Pin Oak Drive. Under old business, you have something here on time order cable request for the trooper barracks. Can you tell me whether the town is paying for the cable to be installed?
We haven't gotten to that yet, Mr. Hawkins, we'll address it.
Is it on the agenda?
It is.
Can I have my 3 minutes and you'll get
You
to it
can
eventually,
talk
but I've
3
asked the
minutes.
question. Don't give me a hard time. I'm a citizen of this community. I pay taxes to this community. I ask a question.
This is
I
not a
ask-
question and answer period.
Oh, it's not. The request from the floor, what would you say that is? A question and answer period.
Correct, which will be addressed by the
Correct, so
council
I'm
when
asking
he
you the
gets to the
question,
agenda.
so you're ignoring the residents of this community by not answering their questions.
If you want to call it that, sure.
Thank you very much. First
You're
time
welcome,
tonight
Jerry.
you've been honest.
I should give them a standing ovation, you should stand right up on your chairs. Come on.
Harvey, if you want people to stand on something. Okay, I'll stand on the Constitution.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. I was going to ask with regard to this discussion that I heard earlier. I believe the fee schedule for the town of Boston is established by a local law.
Resolution.
A local law is passed to establish the schedule of fees and
The reorganizational meeting each year, on the first meeting of the year,
Yeah.
is a series of multiple resolutions, that's usually tucked in there.
yeah, it's usually tucked in there, but I thought that was, it was tucked in there in the context of being a local law.
The resolutions.
Okay.
And approval.
I'll have to go back and check the, but I was going to inquire if there was currently a local law in force that does establish those fee schedules. Because if there isn't one, then it's hard to know what it is. If there is one, then it's pretty easy to know what it is.
Well, the
And I'll have to go back over
schedule
the,
is- Right.
I didn't realize we were going to be discussing this kind of thing until earlier in the public meeting. I was just coming here to say that the spring thaw has hit up on the East Hill, and once again, I'm going to bring up the topic of water over there, and look forward to addressing it in future weeks. So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Goldberg.
Don O'Brien, 4718 North Boston Road, President of the Emergency Squad. I don't know if there's any further concerns, or this is the time or place to even bring it up, but as far as the resolutions, if anything further clarifications needed to make this happen tonight.
It actually is. And we've talked about this, and we had time to come and get you and bring you downstairs, we would have done that. The structure, who's going to have ownership of the new ambulance?
Okay, as Marty knows, in the past, the old one had to be signed over to the town, or to
Over
the
to the-
squad.
Correct.
Because of the insurance issue, we have to handle or carry first responder insurance versus when the town was doing, it was fleet insurance. It doesn't cover any malpractice, doesn't cover the medics or anybody in the first aid side. So we have to have first responder insurance, which has to be in the squad's name. So therefore, the vehicles have to be in the squad's name, and that's why when we got the ambulance on the grant, that's what started it and brought it to light that we weren't properly insured through the town.
Exactly correct. And Councilman Genzel, I recall all this because we were involved in that process back then. On the new one, the way the documents are drafted right here, it looks as though the town is purchasing the ambulance, the town is taking ownership of the ambulance. the town is
Within the
taking
contract, it
loan.
states that the town, through the ambulance district, will purchase the ambulances. But it has to be titled and in the squad's name for the insurance purposes.
Right, okay. And did we make provisions, or had you guys discussed the provisions to, as far as the note The town's gonna pay the note out of the district.
Correct.
Because this is where it's real confusing. And then we had talked about this downstairs and we couldn't really, I mean, my understanding is this is, I understand exactly what's going on. This is basically a demo ambulance that is, and chances are is if we don't act on this, this vehicle could no longer be available.
Correct. There's 3 other companies that are in line, they're holding it for us. They've been holding it for 3 weeks now, based
Right.
on, because they want to do business. And what it would be, it's a match, although it's got a lot of enhancements to the, what we call A16, which is a 2008.
Right, the newer one.
Right. That one to reproduce today would be 160,000.
At least. Right, okay.
So this, with all the add-ons, the better suspension, I don't know if anybody's ridden in the older ambulance, in the back. The suspension, because of the age, is bad, the front end shimmies, so either the 2000 gets a lot of work, and it has broken down on, fortunately, not critical calls, but
It's
it's a maintenance. Well, he's our maintenance guy that takes care of it, but that's why he's saying. He does do a good job.
Remember, we have to sell it.
You remember the story of the one-wash shay?
But anyway,
9,000, 10,000 is worth, I think, right?
which if anybody's looking for an old ambulance, providing we get a new one to replace it, that would be up for sale. But I don't know if there's any other things we can clarify.
I think not, if I can keep you there, though. Michael, do you have an opinion on a tentative approval or anything along those lines, something we can do at this point to give board's approval?
Well, how I understand the seller is a dealer.
Yeah, correct. Gorman Enterprises. No.
Well, I guess the town board raised a couple of questions. One is the way the town board transferred the old ambulance before, so that you would have the insurance coverage and things. So that was to wrap it into part of the contract that the board had with the EMS services. The board doesn't have the authority to grant equipment or money or vehicles to a non-for-profit in town unless a service is provided. What we did the last time is the town gave the EMS service department the ambulance, and that became part of the contract. We give you the ambulance, the EMS performs the services. We're doing this midterm, your contract is good until December 31st, and we're trying to figure out a way so that we could transfer over during midterm under the same contract and to do what you want to do. And also that a question came up, will the town have enough taxes coming into the coffers over the next 8 years to handle the payments on the ambulance for 8 years without raising taxes, or do we have to raise taxes? Either way, but the town board does recognize your need for it. The town board wants to get it. We're just trying to do the best way to do it so that we comply with the insurance and then we comply with state law.
Okay, that has been a clause in the contract, that the ambulance will be provided through the ambulance district. And money was to be set aside for that purpose and built in an account.
Right.
Right, I think an issue is that the reserve account, right now, the balance of the reserve account is about 66,000. That's why there's going to be this additional $104,000
Right.
note to take it. Is that where we have the issue, if my understanding is correct? That's
Yeah, well, no.
the borrowing?
And that was put in the contract last November, December to assure the squad that the town, no, it was done several years before.
The old one, it was one 2000, the one we're looking to replace, the 2000, was signed over to take care of the insurance issue.
Right, correct.
And ever since then, it's been in the contract.
Right, and the town has been contributing, I think, 10,000 or 12,000, whatever it is, into the reserve for the new ambulance.
To the capital reserve fund,
Right,
correct.
we knew this day was coming, but we didn't know what the amount was gonna be. We didn't know how much we'd have in there at the time, and we didn't know when you would find a vehicle. I mean, if we're talking November, we'd have no problem. But, we're midterm in your contract, so I guess we're just trying to figure out a way so we can comply with what you wanted to.
And we did delay purchase last year. So it's been in the workings.
Can we possibly, discuss this with the EMS?
I mean, my concern, Mr. O'Brien, is obviously the 104,000 that we're going out to bond out and borrow, and whether that's going to raise the ambulance line is my concern. Obviously, no one wants to have an old ambulance. We want a new ambulance to take care of our citizens, but is it going to raise taxes, the 104,000 we're borrowing? We have 66,000 in reserves that we've been stocking away for this future because we knew it was coming, right? That old, is the life cycle of the old ambulance, is it at its end? We have 74,000 miles on it, and these are the details we were getting. Councilman Keenan actually is the liaison to the EMS, he's giving us some details downstairs. So I guess that's my concern, yeah, we want a new ambulance, but are my taxes going to go up? Okay. So do you know?
Well, we wouldn't be looking if we didn't think it was needed. It is 16 years old. I mean, if we want to go down to one ambulance, if that's what the town wants, then
No, I
if
don't.
that breaks down, we'll
Yeah,
have to,
yeah.
because we won't have the funds to repair that ourselves. We don't get that kind of money in our budget to do serious rework or rebuilds on an ambulance.
And that's the point it's at? Is your maintenance guy there, Russ?
I mean, the front end has that been,
The ambulance mechanically is pretty sound at the moment. It has two broken leaves in the rear suspension. They don't seem at this point to be affecting the handling or the way the box sits, so we're leaving it alone. But I mean, it's an ambulance that's, 16 years old. It's got 85,000 miles on it, and those aren't easy miles for the most part. But, I mean, it would last a little longer if you need it to last longer, but we're going to be spending more and more money on it, yes. We just recently had to shortcut the module that runs all the emergency lights because the master module that handles those lights failed, and they no longer make a replacement switch for that module. So we had to, Rudy Goldberg.
How much time, if any, do you think a good faith deposit would that do it?
ask them, but as I said, there's 3 other companies, they say in line, they have one of that. I mean, it is a demo with a lot of, it's probably got 8,000 to 10,000 additional features, which we probably wouldn't get if we got a replacement. The only concerning thing is to replace the 2008 is going to be more than what this is currently.